Get a load of this tough bad boy. Yo, this is a Hj45. Well, it was in 1979. There's been a lot of changes happening to this one. I'll go straight to under the bonnet on this one because it was in here for one. The biggest reason it was in here was an engine conversion. Get a load of this. We've thrown a fully rebuilt 12HT in this bad boy with a few other things, but a bit about its history first. This one has come from central Queensland, and the previous owner had a 350 Chev in there, and he's done a really cool job. There's nothing wrong with the 350 Chev. Glenn, that owns this now, is a diesel man. He wants a diesel in here, wants it a bit better on fuel. It's actually a work rig, so it's a daily. So he chose himself the 12HT, and we've plumbed it all up in there. We've added a few things. You can see here, this is the whistle and soot, airbox, snorkel, and exhaust. The exhaust system, they're off the shelf. Whistle and soot make all that. This one didn't quite fit because he had spring helpers on his suspension, so we removed those, put brand new 2-inch lift rear springs in there, and she stands up quite tall now. But back to the engine bay. There's a few things. The battery used to be in the tray, just out there exposed, and you couldn't really maximise its work yet, couldn't maximise the space of the tray. So the boys have brought the battery back up inside here. And a few other things. I noticed the 60 series booster and the proportioning valve, that was already in here. Some of the stuff we've done, relocated the overflow bottle, just hand make little brackets to house that, relocated the power steer reservoir, and when we put the battery under the bonnet, well, I'd say it was out of there because it's still got 60 series power steer, so we've made our own battery tray bracket to the chassis so that the column can run straight through there. Just little things to tweak this one, but also got to remember, a lot of people know, and those that don't, the 12HT bolts straight into the chassis in 1979. You know chassis mods, but this had the 350, so we had to unstitch all the welds and re-put in the factory brackets to hold this one. But that also meant that the gearbox was all in the wrong positioning, and because that cross member was welded in there, unpicked all of that and repositioned everything, so everything's plumbed up where it should be now. So one other thing, in 1979 they didn't have disc brakes, so probably hence the 60 series booster. This bad boy now has disc brakes, and the gearbox that is in it is a 5-speed. So a couple other things about this rig and about Glenn, the client. He's our client, but we're also his client because Glenn owns Northside Blast Coat, and they do all our sandblasting, panels, chassis, everything, but they also do all the black paint. So he paints our chassis, axles, fuel tanks, you name it. If it's black, he does it. He also does our when we do split rims, he does all the grey split rims, brings them up to a factory look. So definitely got to check out Northside Blast Coat, because the guy owns a 40. This isn't his first 40, he's into his 40s. He's had this one about 3 or 4 years, and he works on 40s. You're in good hands with him. You won't read a bad thing about him in any forum. But something else they also do is, you look at the bull bar here, he is Linex. So you hear of different other products. This stuff's really tough. We've had a chassis out in the weather for quite some time, and that's been Linexed, and this is an excellent product. So a big core of his business is the liners and U-trays. Does all the flooring, but he does all the extras too. He's done his flares here, which are fiberglass. He's done his bull bar. This stuff really comes up nice. When he does trays, if that's your thing, he does underneath as well. He did one of our outside fuel tanks, so he did the underneath of that. It just protects it from stone chips and stuff. So Linex, Glenn's your man there. But more about this rig is there's a lot of fiberglass. We got the widened guards because it's got a bit of a stance, some big wheels on it. But when he picks this up, he's actually got some new rims and bigger wheels to go on it. So with all the flares going on, they're going to be nice and protected. And a fiberglass bonnet and a fiberglass roof. So over the years it's been updated with what needs to be. The scoop looks tough as, and we've got the 70 series indicators up the front. You see the checker plate. A lot of times we see that to hide rust. The previous owner put that on there because he liked the look. We've had the doors apart, we've seen inside here, and there's no rust in there. That 80 is actually there for a look. He just likes a tough looking vehicle, so he's made it a bit different from others and done a really cool job. We'll go have a look inside. There's some a custom cluster and gauges going on, and the interior is a little bit different from 1979. Still continuing the bad boy theme. This one's got it all going on. It's very custom inside. We'll start with the cluster. He's got his speedo, his revs, oil temp, oil pressure, fuel gauge and water temp, all up the front. In the dash, you'll also notice a very common conversion is the XR6 seat is up the front, and 79 series bench. Well, Glenn's a big tall fella like myself, and not over the moon with the Falcon seat, and I've sat in them as well. Not much room, so he's actually going to experiment a bit. He's got a new 79 seat going in there to match the passengers. I see there's a few little things. Check out this, eh? If you don't know about MrLandcruiser, we specialise in new and used parts, so I'm going to try and upsell before he gets here, and we might make that look a little bit prettier. He's got vinyl floor that's all aftermarket, and up in the console houses his speakers, interior lights either side, and a parcel shelf. He's got some paperwork and stuff going up on there, and he's carpeted all the roof there to keep it nice and cool, fiberglass roof. Otherwise, that's all that's going on in here. You look at the gear six, you can tell she's a 5-speed. No real other holes or anything going on. He's got a stereo going on in there. He's got a compressor and a rear locker. So he does wheel this thing. He was wheeling it when it was 350. But the thing with Glenn, he also uses it as a daily business vehicle, hence the engine conversion. So this one's a very cool engine. Some of my walk arounds, I jump in them and give them a squirt. This is a brand new engine. We're running it in, so I'm just going to stay put and leave it alone today. But it's so nice to have a rebuilt. We love doing this sort of work. Otherwise, while it was in here, no disrespect to anyone, there was a bit of a bird's nest of wiring going up in under that dash. We all know Richard is a bit of a whiz there. He's really tidied that up. Everything's got all the gauges working, replaced a few things. The only other thing I can think about this tub's off a 79 series, and they don't just bolt on, chopped a bit out. Glenn's organised that. Glenn bought this rig with the style side, I beg my pardon, with the drop side. That he wanted a tub to show off his product, Line X, so he's chopped and fitted a 79 series, and this thing looks as tough as nuts. This rig's always evolving. Glenn's just such into his cars. He's got other builds going on, so I'm sure we'll see it again, and I can't wait.